Welcome to the Retro Gaming Show. My name is B, you already know. We review games either bad or good. By this point, I think you understood. Be already Retro Gaming Show.
Today on The Brady Show, we're going to be talking about my top 10 PS1 games of all time. Let's get into this. Coming in at the number 10 spot, we have Mass Destruction on PS1. Now listen, man, if you're in a mood, you're trying to relieve some stress, bro, pop this game in and you're good to go. Literally in this game, you get to choose between 3 tanks and then you just get to wreak havoc around these areas, destroy literally anything in your path, honestly. To earn points, you can destroy trees, enemy tanks, of course, there's enemies, there's variations of enemies, which is very cool, and even buildings themselves, which is very, very fun. There's tons of extra weapons as well you can pick up around the map. Mortar bombs, napalms, flamethrower, like so many cool stuff. Cluster missiles, that's one of my most favorites. It just makes the game even more replayable and more fun. And these extra special weapons are really, really cool, man. And I mean, it's just such a stress reliever kind of game. Another thing about this game, the explosion effects. Bro, these explosions can get insane sometimes. Like the fire can sometimes fill the whole entire screen. The explosion effects look really good. The ear rape sounds when you explode something is insane. The impact of it, the shakes, the screen shake, all of it's really good and adds to the gameplay. The gameplay is just fun in general. A lot of replay value with this. And yeah, man, Mass Destruction. Definitely go check this bad boy out on PS1. Coming in at number 9, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. I mean, do I even need to explain, man? This is an absolute classic on PS1. This game shaped a whole generation. This game is phenomenal, and it's probably, in my opinion, the best Tony Hawk game on PlayStation 1. And I mean, what is there to say? Career mode, single session, free skate, 2-player, create a park, create a skater. So many amazing modes that you can play in this game and have so much fun with. And you just go in, you get crazy combos, you do skateboard tricks, you just ride around on these amazing maps. The maps and parks in this game are excellent. The addition to manuals really bumps this game up to a god tier game. Oh my gosh, the soundtrack is banging. Literally, there's nothing bad to say about this game, except sometimes the controls are not the best. But Pro Skater 3 on PS2, which is obviously my favorite Tony Hawk game, fixes everything. But for PS1, a lot of PS1 games do not have good controls, let's be honest. But for the ones that do, and even the ones that have decent controls, they work really well, man. And Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, you can't beat it, man. You cannot beat it. And I know it's a little low on the list here, but there are a lot of PS1 games that are very, very good in my opinion. So Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, man. We got a hot take here, boys. Coming in at number 8, we have Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. Bro, this is basically a Crash Bandicoot ripoff. I'm gonna be straight up. This is a ripoff of Crash Bandicoot, but set in the Scooby-Doo world. And this is based off of course, the Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase movie that I used to watch back in the day as a kid. All of those Scooby-Doo movies, the one where they collabed with Batman, all of the animated Scooby-Doo movies, bro, those were straight childhood. Whatever the Western one it was, the old Western one, oh my goodness, such nostalgia with those movies. This game has crazy nostalgia as well. Like I said, Crash Bandicoot ripoff, but this is one of the ones that are actually very, very good in my opinion. So you go through these levels and the levels are actually very, very good, I must say. A lot of variety with the levels, a lot of different environments and stuff. You either go through as Shaggy or Scooby, and your weapon of choice in this game is pies. You get to throw pies at all these enemies. And throughout the levels, you collect Scooby snacks, and you get to collect burgers to increase your health. Collect more pies because you only have a limited amount, and you make it to the end of the level and reach the box of Scooby snacks in order to complete it. And with any Crash Bandicoot ripoff game, there's got to be platforming, right? The platforming in this game is very challenging at times. It starts off pretty easy in the early stages, but dude, later on in the game, especially in the Egypt levels, the platforming is absolutely insanity. And this is a kid's game, don't get me wrong. And this might be a little hot take as well, but The platforming in this game is harder than any of the Crash Bandicoot platforming levels. In any of the Crash Bandicoot games, this game is harder, more challenging, I must say, with the platforming. It can get insane sometimes. Like, you'll die up to 20 to 25 times per level, at least I do. But dude, the platforming is really challenging, but that is actually not a bad thing. And then the boss fights in this game. The boss fights are really good. Cannot complain. They're definitely not bad boss fights. All of them have a nice little twist to them. The last boss fight, man, that is like insanity. Like, every single time I play this game, that last boss takes me at least an hour and a half to complete. That last boss is way too challenging. I'll give him that. That last boss is way too hard, dude. Way too fucking hard. Like, you just need to be lucky, man, at that point. But yeah, man, Scooby-Doo in the Cyber Chase. If you've never played this game before, I would highly recommend you try this out. It's a pretty cheap game too, I would think. Definitely go try out Scooby-Doo in the Cyber Chase, man. I recommend it. Now, coming in at number 7, we have Road Rash on PS1. Now, this one, dude, in my opinion, in all honesty, this is a classic on the PS1 in my eyes. So you get to race in motorcycles at fucking top speed. Like, you actually go super fast in this game while punching and kicking your opponents in order to make it to the finish. There's a combat aspect to this game, which makes it just elevates this game to the next level. The whole combat aspect of it is super fun, man. Super fun, and makes the game even more fun, in my opinion. I mean, you can pull up to these guys and like just beat their asses, and all the opponents have health bars. Deplete their health bar and they'll fly off their bike and like basically die, and then you can just continue on with your race. It's really fun. And also, you can even get hit and beat, and even if you run into like traffic or something, you can get thrown off your bike. And a cool thing about this is, instead of respawning back on your bike like all racing games are kind of nowadays, and even back in the day, you actually have to run back to your bike. And you can get ran over while you're running back to your bike by other bikers or whatever the hell is going on. Like, a lot of unexpected things can happen in this game. But yeah, you have to run back to your bike in order to get back on and get back into the race, which I think is a really cool thing there. And the gameplay, I mean, it's super fast-paced, literally super fast-paced racing. There's a lot of obstacles in the way, like I said earlier, traffic, and there's even pedestrians that for some reason walk in the middle of the street, not even on the crosswalks, and you can run their asses over. Literally, they are fucking dead. You can run their asses over, and it's funny. They fucking flail, and you get some airtime when you run them over. It's kind of funny. And there's also police officers on bikes that can pull up. They don't really do nothing. I mean, the one time that a police officer pulled up on me, I literally whooped his ass and just carried on with my race. They don't really offer any challenge. They're kind of trash. And the environments, dude, the environments in this game are actually beautiful, considering the graphics are super pixelated. I love pixelated graphics, by the way. I think they're really beautiful to look at. It depends on the game, obviously, but the environments in this game, oh my goodness, man, they are absolutely beautiful. I have no bad words for the environments. Another thing too, I don't know how, but at the end, this has never happened to me before. While I was filming gameplay, at the end, I got a baton for some reason. I've never gotten a baton before, or whatever the fuck I had. I think it was a baton. And I started whooping everybody's asses. Like, I killed like 3 people, and I won the race. Like, it was actually insane. An insane finish to my gameplay. Road Rash, dude, definitely go try this if you've never played it yet. I 100% recommend. Coming in at number 6, we have Spyro Ripto's Rage. Everyone knows Spyro. I don't even need to explain this, but this game, you play as Spyro the Dragon, and you go on an adventure throughout these magical, beautiful worlds in order to stop Ripto from whatever the fuck plan he has planned. And it's just a really cute, beautiful game. It is challenging at times as well. Collecting the gems is so satisfying. I love collecting the gems. And yeah, the worlds are beautiful. You go in and you help like the residents of the worlds. A lot of replay value. This game is also really long, surprisingly, for a PS1 game. Very long, decently sized story to this game, I must say. But everyone knows Spyro. I don't need to explain it. So number 6. Spyro Ripto's Rage. Number 5, this one is a classic. Rampage World Tour. Now, are you stressed out? Are you a little moody today? Well, let me tell you, man, go pop in Rampage World Tour and go and destroy a city, because that's literally what you do in this game. You pick between 3 different monsters: George, Lizzie, and Ralph. Ralph is my OG. I love the fuck out of Ralph. He is my man. You go in, destroy cities, and it's just one of those games that, like, you just sit down, shut your brain off. You go in, destroy the cities. There's helicopters, there's aircrafts, there's a bunch of military and police that you can also take down. You can eat people, you climb buildings, you can climb to the top of them and break them down that way. Literally any way you want, you can do. And a lot of weird occurrences can also happen in this game. Like, you can see like random UFOs. Like, there's like some devil worshipping stuff. Like, I don't know, maybe there's like some dude jacking off. Like, you can see like some weird stuff, man, in this game. And it is very funny, and it just catches you off guard. I'm not even joking about that, by the way, like, no joke. Like, this game is just awesome, man. Absolutely awesome. It was one of the classics for me growing up as a teen. And as a kid, I played Universal Tour on Nintendo 64. That was my childhood, but this was definitely the game I played in my teenage years. Absolutely love this game. You cannot beat Rampage. Bro, if you're stressed, go play this game. And lastly, towards the end of my gameplay, I also stumbled upon Jesus in Rampage World Tour. You can see Jesus, UFOs, and people jacking off in this game. Highly recommend. Coming in at my number 4 spot, we have another classic. These are all basically classics, man. Crash Team Racing on PS1. Oh my goodness, this cover art, just this cover art alone gets me filled up with nostalgia. So, as we all know, this is a clone of Mario Kart set in the Crash Bandicoot world. And in my opinion, dude, I honestly prefer this version compared to Mario Kart. And the PS1 version, not the new one, Nitro Fueled or whatever that one was. The PS1 version. I always stick with the classics. I mean, what's there to say, man? The gameplay is super fun. The items are amazing and like a lot of variety. It's super fun to use the items. The racetracks are phenomenal. Some of the most beautiful racetracks I've seen in a racing game. There's not even a single bad racing track, I would say. I mean, Tiny Arena, not really a fan of Tiny Arena, but it's still not a bad track. Coco Park is a beautiful track, but it is very boring as a racetrack. The roads are way too wide for some reason, but there's still no bad tracks in this game. The single player story as well is a very good story, considering it's Crash Bandicoot. Nitrous Oxide, I really am a fan of him as a villain, and he does put up a good fight at the end of the story mode here. And I mean, what more is there to say, man? We all know Crash Team Racing. My main in this game is Cortex. I always pick Cortex whenever I play, but for the video, for the gameplay, when I was filming gameplay, I decided to play as Polar and Dingodile as well. I mean, what more is there to say? Like, Crash Team Racing, it's a classic, man. If you've never played this game, why? Go play it right now. Number 3, Crash Bandicoot Warped. I even have the holographic version of it too, that's very cool. But Crash Bandicoot Warped, oh man, this is my favorite Crash Bandicoot game of the original trilogy on PS1. Warped is just my favorite. It's an amazing game with great graphics, great gameplay, great levels, great boss fights, literally great everything. The time travel aspect is also really cool, and I don't know what it is, but why does it have to be where the 3rd installment of literally anything, video game, movie, has to be about time travel? Like, who came up with that? Is that like a rule or something? Who fucking knows, man? But the time travel does work very well in this game. This is another one where like, I'm like, bro, do I even have to explain? There's a lot of games that are just like, dude, everyone should know, you know what I'm saying? But this is, I mean, I've already said what I need to say here. Amazing levels, amazing boss fights, amazing gameplay, amazing graphics. Like, we don't even need to talk anymore about this game, Crash Bandicoot Warped. And also, last thing, between Crash Warped and Crash Team Racing, it was kind of a hard pick, but I would say in general, I would play this over Crash Team Racing. But it also does kind of depend on what kind of mood I'm in. Am I in a platforming mood or am I in a racing mood? So realistically, we could switch Crash Warped with Team Racing any day. But in general, I would probably say that I like Warped a little bit better than Crash Team Racing. Coming in at number 2, this is a hot take. A lot of y'all are gonna be like, bro, Brady, are you fucking kidding me? Number 2, billiards on PlayStation 1. Now, I love pool games. Absolutely love pool games. There are a very good amount of pool games on PS1, but none of them come close to billiards on PS1. Literally none of them at all. Billiards is the most top tier pool game on PlayStation 1. Yes, better than Jimmy White's 2 cue ball, better than American Pool, Virtual Pool, but this one has the best physics, I think. 100% the best physics, and the gameplay is very fun as well. Obviously, it has to be fun in order for it to be a number 2 spot, you know what I'm saying? The sound design is also very good. You know, when you like hit the balls, the clanking of the balls, very good sound design. Also, when you pocket a ball, very cool sound. It is very satisfying. It's just a great pool game, man. Great pool game. The physics is what carry this game. Jimmy White's 2 cue ball, that game was a little bit too laggy for me. Virtual Pool was absolutely god awful. And then I have like another one that I honestly can't remember. It's not that memorable for me. But billiards, amazing physics, man. Amazing physics. Very satisfying to make it in, make shots and do trick shots, which, you know, you can do trick shots up in this game. And it's just a really fun game, man. Really fun if you like pool games. You can even change the setting of the background of like where, like you can be in like a normal ass like hotel room, it looks like, or not hotel room, but like hotel lobby. And then the next setting, you can be in like a sewers. Like you can play pool in the sewers. I don't know why you do that, but you can, there's like 3 different settings. You can go against different CPU characters that have their own little personalities, nothing too crazy. But it's a very, very fun game, very, bro, if you're into pool games, 100% check this out. I don't even know what to say anymore. Billiards. It's time. Number 1. Now, what's BR80's number 1 PS1 game? This one will come to no surprise. And this one is not a hot take, believe it or not. This is, I'm just gonna show you guys. Number 1, Spider-Man on PlayStation. Look at that cover art. This is one of the best video game cover arts of all time, in my opinion. I'm just gonna say that right here, right now. Oh, this game. You know, I was one of those kids back in the day. This is a childhood classic of mine, by the way, but I was one of those kids that never had a memory card, right? So I used to always play this game without a memory card. I wasn't able to save the game. So what I would do every single time I played this game about every other day for a long time. I would sit down and 100%, well, not necessarily 100%, but I would beat the story in one sitting, and I would do that forever, man. I would do that for a long time because I never had a memory card, you know? I mean, from the amazing story mode packed with tons of action, great levels, tons of enemy variation, and super good boss fights, actually really good boss fights. I mean, to the side modes even, like time attack, survival, which was probably my favorite one of the bunch. I loved doing it on that rooftop against the thugs. Really loved that. I could only survive for like 25 seconds though. And I also was a fan of target practice too. I did like that one. And I mean, the iconic Spider-Man villains you get to fight throughout this game. Venom, Carnage, Scorpion, Rhino, fucking Mysterio. Oh my gosh. Even at the end, Dr. Octopus and Carnage hybrid. I mean, oh my gosh, Spider-Man and Venom get to be homies in this game, and you get to like go through the story being homies with Venom. I think that's very cool. The costumes, like you can switch between a variation of costumes to play for replay value and whatnot. The web slinging, I really like the web slinging in this game. I think it's very cool. I also am a very big fan of the fog, especially the first mission I would say is the best, the most iconic, the most nostalgic for me. The bank heist mission. It's like the fog down below, being able to web sling, kind of having an open world. You get to kind of veer off and there's a few extra buildings you can go onto. This game is amazing. And I'm just gonna say this right here, right now. This is the best Spider-Man game ever created. To this day. I don't care what you gotta say about Spider-Man PS4, Spider-Man 2 PS4. A lot of people say the first one's better, which I agree. But this is the best Spider-Man game ever created. In the world, in the history of the world. Neversoft and Activision, y'all went fucking crazy on this game. I mean, just thinking about it is making me tear up, man. Finally, last thing I want to say, you cannot forget about the Stan Lee voiceovers in this game. Iconic.
Welcome, true believers and newcomers alike. Spider-Man co-creator Stan Lee here. Once again, we find our hero Peter Parker, better known around the world as the Amazing Spider-Man, in a heap of trouble.
This game is fucking phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. 100% my favorite PlayStation 1 game. Grew up playing this bad boy. Amazing story, amazing side modes, tons of replay value. If you're a fan of superheroes and Spider-Man, as you can tell, look at the background. Amazing Spider-Man. I have an Infinity Gauntlet. Another Spider-Man. Peep this one out. Hold up real quick. Peep this one out right here. Boom. Amazing Spider-Man. I also have a Hulk and Wolverine poster over there. But if you're a fan of superheroes, if you're a fan of Spider-Man, bro, you need... Like, if you haven't played this game, that's fucking crazy. If you're a fan of Spider-Man and you've not played this game, that's fucking crazy. Go play this, man. It is a little spendy, don't get me wrong, but please try to find a way to play this game. It's also on Nintendo 64 as well, if you have a Nintendo 64, but PS1 is my go-to. Well, you guys, there you have it. My top 10 PS1 games of all time. This is my opinion, of course. Leave yours down in the comments below. Like, what's your top 10 PS1 games? Or just give me some of your favorite PS1 games. Leave them in the comments. I'd really like to know. I'm curious about that. And Baby Brady, pop in here real quick. Fuck out of here, my boy. Yep, get back to bed, man. What a time. Yeah, definitely time for your nap again. Thanks for watching. I also did a top 10 PS2 games about 4 to 5 months ago. Link will be in the description for that if you want to watch that one after this. But yeah. PS1 is my favorite console to collect for in the entire world. PS2 is my favorite console in general, and out of all retro. But PS1 is my favorite to collect for. The little jewel cases. These are my favorite game cases ever come out with. Like the DVD cases and all the other ones are cool, but the little square jewel cases, you cannot beat them, man. Thanks for tuning in to yet another episode of the BR80 Show. If you like retro gaming content, we post weekly over here with live streams, uploads, community posts, shorts, everything, all of the above. So make sure you subscribe if you like retro gaming. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be seeing you Sunday. Have a good one.